Okay, welcome to another live, another edition of Grammar and Syntax with Corey. I didn't want to give you the impression that we're alone today, so we have some students. Come on over. Don't be shy. That was Jimmy here. Okay, so we got Luis in here. He's going to help us. Alberto and Trisha. No, never mind. She's not here. Okay, she's being shy. Okay, so in English 3 especially, we're having trouble with the syntax section of. Let me get all revved up here. With the syntax section of which is right off the bat in a lot of the English classes, but especially in English 3, we're kind of struggling with it, and I wanted to kind of recap some stuff because every time that we struggle with a quiz or something, it's usually this stuff, and I just want to go a little bit more in depth of why. So we're going to go with a grammar lesson today, which sounds like, but it's going to be like, because it's about syntax, which syntax logic is like some fun stuff, okay? Don't be looking at me like that. Okay, so I'm just going to talk today about what is a sentence. What is a sentence? You guys know? What is a sentence? Yeah. I don't know how to explain it. I have a lot of questions asked to me, like, first of all, when is a paragraph done? When is a sentence done? How many words are in a sentence? They ask me that all the time. 5? Is it 6? When is it they say this isn't a sentence? Is this a fragment? Have you guys heard of that before? This is a fragment. I'll tell you how many words are in a sentence today. Everybody wants to know. This is like the licks of a lollipop. How many licks does it get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? I'm about to tell you the real answer today. It's 2 words. That's it. 2 words for a sentence to count. A subject and a verb. And so, I don't know if you can see yet. So we have who did what. Every sentence should answer that question. Who did what? And that's your subject and your verb. And in linguistics, we call that an independent clause. Okay. So we have one independent clause. It could be a simple, or it could be really complicated with a lot of infinites. We went to the store to get this and that. And when I was a kid, they told me, and they said, well, if you're going to put a comma in there, it's every time that you pause. Every time that you pause, put a comma. And so I was really well, I want to get all my punctuation right. Okay. So every time that I'd pause, I'd put a comma, and then I'd read it again, and then I'd take out the comma, and then I'd have somebody else read it to me, and I'd say, well, you just paused. Is that a comma or not? Well, is it or not? I don't know. We don't know. And so I kept taking it out and in. But here's the rule. There's no such thing as a pause rule that there's a comma. A comma does not mean a pause. There's a comma for ease breathe, and it's visual. Not the way we read it. Okay. So punctuation. So you look at your keyboard, or some of us that have smartphones, you look up on a smartphone and it has a little keyboard, and that keyboard explains the English language. Okay. It gives us the ability to communicate in English. And a lot of us don't know what it means. There's commas on it. There's question marks. There's slashes. There's hyphens. There's dashes. Partridge in a pear tree. Okay, it's got everything on it, but we don't know how do you use a comma? Well, we know a couple ways. Okay, so you're about to learn today. Okay, I'm about to teach you. So we got an independent clause here. So you might have heard this before as a compound sentence, and I'm gonna call it parataxis. And I like the word parataxis a lot because it's cute. It has para, meaning paragraph means syntax, okay? And so we have two independent clauses, two full sentences together that we're going to join. The way you join that is with a coordinating conjunction and with a comma. What's a coordinating conjunction, Corey? Write this down. Fanboys going down, okay? I use this still. The reason I use this is it makes me write better sentences. Okay, it makes me write. Now, I'm not always going to use the word and. I'm going to go with a different conjunction, okay? But I'll say to myself, okay, what is the next conjunction I'm going to use? I think about two things, coordinating conjunctions and subordinating conjunctions. So, fanboys, for, and, nor, but, for, yet, so. These words join up independent clauses. And when I was a kid, we had a really cool song that went with it, like conjunction, junction, watch your function, hooking up phrases and clauses. And it was like probably the best Schoolhouse Rock song ever. But so that's its function. But we can't do it just only with the coordinating conjunction. We can't join these two sentences together. We also have to have a comma, okay? So it's going to look like this. A simple sentence, I ran. What makes that a sentence? What makes that a sentence and not this a sentence? I running. I running isn't a sentence. Do you think that's a sentence? And if I asked you, you'd say, why in that sentence? You'd say, oh, it sounds weird. It doesn't sound right. My ESL students would say, oh, I asked my dorm mate, and they said, well, you know, why can't that's an action word. That's a verb. Running. That's a verb, isn't it? Okay. And this is I am a person, place, or thing. I'm a noun. I running. Why isn't that a sentence? And then they go, I don't know. This doesn't sound right. And that's not good enough for somebody that's actually trying to learn English. And it's not good enough for you guys who should know English, okay, and should anticipate what you're going to do, so you're not just going off of your instincts, because your instincts honestly might be wrong, okay? So I running, ing verbs do not have a tense, okay? So without a tense, we don't have a transitive verb, we don't have a sentence, okay? Every sentence should have a tense to it. I ran today. I run. Our running does not have a verb. We need something here. What do we need? What word will we put in there to make that a sentence? Yeah. I am running. And what does that do? That establishes tense. I am running today. How are you going to say yesterday? I ran. I ran, yeah, that's great. That's a transitive verb. But how will we do it? Helping verb. I was running, absolutely. So these words, we call them helping verbs. This is what I like about elementary school is, and I love elementary school teachers. They're the most innovative teachers ever. But they say that's a helping verb, and then they don't tell you what it helps. Helps tense, okay? It establishes tense, and then so when in this unit. When they ask you tense questions, I say, well, find the first verb, was, ran, decide if it's in past tense, and then you go, okay, this whole paragraph has to be in past tense because you can't switch back and forth. You can't time travel. I was running today, and today I did this. Remember that? You can't do that, okay? Once a tense is established in your writing, it has to always stay that way, okay? So, back to our syntax discussion here. We're going to hook up I ran with I walked. Those are two independent clauses, right? They have a transitive verb, right? This is a transitive verb. It has a tense to it. So those are two sentences. We agree on that, right? Okay, so those are two sentences. So we have independent clause here and independent clause here. And we want to hook them up together. And what's the rule up here? An independent clause plus an independent clause, a comma, a coordinating conjunction, a fanboy, and a comma. So pick one for me, Louise. Which fanboy? Okay, let's do Ann. We got to put a comma. I ran and I walked. I mean, it's not the greatest sentence in the world, but it's only 4 words, right? And that's 5 words. But it's the shortest compound sentence that you can get. Okay, and that comma has to be there. If I took this out, that's wrong. Some people even call that a run-on. If I take that out, it's not. Just an error, punctuation. Okay, now here is all of this jazz up here on the board. Got you to one thing: the most mature way to write that I want you guys to strive for, and to know where you're going before you get there, so you're not just like the way we talk. We should not write the way that we speak. Okay, the way that we speak is just like we think at the same time. We're writing, but we're doing it out loud at the same time. I don't want you to write that way. The way I want you to write is think of the sentence before you write it. Okay, so and the best way to do that is a little mature way to write called hypotaxis. Boom. That's our little formula for hypotaxis. A dependent clause moving into an independent clause. You just need one punctuation. That's a comma. Okay. So we have, this is our subordinating conjunction. This is what creates hypotaxis. If we win the game. Now this is misleading because it has a who did what. We and when. Those are our subject and verb. It feels like, but it doesn't tell us who did what. It's like I walk into the room and say, "Hey guys, how you doing? If we win the game today," and I walk out and you say, "This guy's crazy. He's nuts. What's gonna happen? What are we gonna do? Who's gonna do what if we win the game?" Well, I'll tell you. If we win the game, we will eat candy. This is our independent clause. We eat. We eat. Okay? So we can say, because we study syntax, we are smart. Okay? Now, the way that we speak out loud orally, right here, an independent clause moving into a dependent clause, this is the way we speak, but I don't want you to write this way. Okay? This is just flipping this syntax. We will eat candy if we win the game. There's no punctuation needed, and there's no thought needed to put that in to action. So when I look at a really well-written paper, I see a blend of simple sentences, honestly, a lot of parataxes, and obviously some hypotaxis, some intentional subordinating conjunctions moving into independent clauses. I will include an email of a list of subordinating conjunctions, so you will they'll be like our little secret weapon to use while you're writing. Does that sound good to everybody? Does that sound good to you, Luis? How about you, Alberto? And Anonymous back there, how do you feel about that? Okay, good. Until next time, keep writing. Oh, we had to figure out how to stop this thing. Recording.